Hello, friends. Friends, at night I study. I go through the phone and I look at various things, and whatever seems to me of some interest, which gels with my vibration, I go through that. Not in great detail, not very meticulously, but I know that this is my vibration, so I just look through that and I see how I feel. Because according to me, if you can feel, you can breathe, you can purify, फिर संकल्प, determine, and then srijan is creativity. You can create, and you can create without any resistance, because if you put too much of attention on it and if you try to create, you may end up doing something else. So I just look at it and then I feel it. And what I felt is people were discussing about reality. So I say uh, this is coin, right? Money, what you call. These are coins, right? Okay. This is spinach, right? And this is candle stand, right? This is candle stand. So this is me, right? And this is my pen, right? So 3-4 examples of that. So what is reality in saying all this? These are all, you'll say, these are all different objects. I'm looking at them and then I'm defining them as per my knowledge and labels which are given to them, right? But where from all these things have come? All these things have come from the nature, and nature is using only 5 elements to make everything, but the shapes and forms which are coming, these are to be utilized differently, and these are for different kind of consumptions, right? So that is what is the reality. What is the reality, and who is giving the shape? It was earlier matter was melted, and then it was put into the dye, and then thousands of thousands like this came up. And here there was no dye. This came out of the earth itself, right? And this metal is also come out of the dye, right? Because earlier it was not in this shape and form. So the shape and form we are creating, we who are human beings, we are giving that. But this is not the creation of human being. This is the creation of nature itself. So you are creating reality, and nature is also creating reality. You think that you take the metal and get it into different forms and shapes. That reality you are creating, that okay, you have made it as for your utilization. Okay, you can lit the candle and you can worship and do whatever you want. But the point here is, what is reality? What is reality? Is reality you, or is reality this? Or reality is that which is talking out of the sound which is coming with expression out of this form, and which is saying that this is so and so. So what is reality? Or that reality is here. So what is reality? So all reality is perceptual activity, and that which can be perceived is not reality. Because even if you touch the Bible, you'll get to know that all that is visible is not reality. But out of that, which is everything is created, that itself is invisible, like this is invisible, and out of which everything is created. So everything is created out of the cosmic energy, and that cosmic energy sometimes come in this form. Now you see that we have got those knowing particles in us which contain matter, information, and energy, and they tune into your antenna. And when they tune into your antenna, they start talking about it, because now the radio is on at that frequency. But even then, you go more into the details of it, and you will reach the root out of it, is that the knowing potential in you, which has descended in this form, can only touch the antenna in a way that it can start expressing itself. So you are born to express the reality of the knowing potential. But that knowing potential is here also, and it has descended into this to define its own definition. That is what the reality is, right? Because you are the defining knowing potential of the cosmic energy, which turns into different shapes, and therefore you can shape the reality the way you want, because you are the commander in chief. Because if my hand is like this, right, I say open the fist, and it gets open. So who has changed the reality? I myself have changed the reality by giving the command. And that command, that sound, is the sound which is created out of that knowing potential, which when it wanted to express itself, it became sound, it became speech. So now we are decoding what is reality, what is shape, and how one can really manifest the reality the way you want it, because reality is not fixed, neither it is perceptual activity. All reality is created here first, as in Bible, that God created heaven, but first that reality was created where? That reality was created here, and then how that reality reached up to here? Have you ever thought how that reality reached here? Because that reality, when it started from invisible, it went on changing forms and reached up to amoeba, and then amoeba was not able to survive. It was only, the breath was coming out and going, and then gradually all 9 forms, it goes on changing the forms: life on earth, life in the water, life on earth, life in the air, and then life in the form of our ancestors, and then life in the form of this human being, from Homo sapiens to this form. So this is how the reality of the different mutations and combinations in the nature goes on changing and reaches up to the point where it starts defining its own self. But needless to say, because the knowing particles of the nature which can shape reality are there in you, therefore you can give a command and say, okay, this is a pen, and now I tell the hand to put down the pen, and it puts down the pen, right? Or that it says, okay, now go and wearing the specs, and I wear the specs, right? And I look at the reality. So that reality which can be seen as not the actual reality, you may call it illusion, you may call it Maya, but the real reality is invisible, out of which anything can be shaped and formed. Therefore, God bless you all, where you shape your own reality. But remember that we all emerge from that reality, which is cosmic energy, which is invisible, and it keeps descending into different forms. Therefore, when Buddha gave flower to Ananda, he took it and he smiled, but no one else smiled. He smiled because he knew that the cosmic energy has temporarily become the flower, right? But it can take any shape that it wants. So nature goes on creating reality, and let's make it simple, right? If you go it in a technical way, I don't gel with that. We don't do it technically. Whatever we have to do, we just pay focused attention to it, go on proceeding on that path. Whatever forces or whatever energies are coming on the way, just go in flow with them and create your reality. So reality is a flow, and it is invisible, and it can get into any shape and form that you may want, because you are the knowing potential of the reality which you wish to create. Okay, thank you so much. God bless you. Stay tuned, happy, healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow.